Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we're the Movie Bros.
Coming at you from Jeremy's house this time.
Today, we're going to review the movie Mortal Kombat.
So this movie was written by Greg Russo and Dave Callahan, and directed by Sam McQuoid. It stars Louis Tan playing Cole Young and Joel Talcim as the villain Bi-Han or Sub-Zero.
As I'm sure many of you are aware, this movie is based off the Nintendo game Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
30 years old.
It's become a huge franchise at this point. You know, it started off as a very basic fighting game, video game, and it has blossomed into now a second movie franchise, as well as a variety of other things.
I'll be honest, I really wanted to just hate this movie and think it was trash. But to that, let's segue to, what did you think?
So this movie tells a little bit of a different story. Mortal Kombat as a film has actually been done before. The original was made in 1995, Mortal Kombat. There was actually a sequel to that called Mortal Kombat Annihilation a few years later. Both of those have actually become cult classics. They've very beloved movies. I do recommend you go watch them. Maybe not before this one for various reasons, but they are some interesting things if you want to get into the kind of fan fiction of it. This one tells a little bit of a different story. Mm-hmm. It kind of goes into the history of some of the big players and some of the video game favorites in Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and it tells the kind of ancient feud between them.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. It was a unique perspective, something I was not expecting. I liked the way that the movie started. I would have liked to have seen more of that story told throughout Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
As opposed to trying to bring it into modern day times. I really kind of dug the beginning of the movie. The first act I really liked.
Yeah, I know. I thought that opening sequence was very cool. You get introduced to kind of this ancient bloodline, and you get a little taste of this kind of feud between realms. In this story, there are multiple realms, and Earth, being one of the realms, has kind of a nemesis in this realm called Outworld. Outworld has people who are seeking to bring their people to Earthrealm and kind of take over our world.
Yeah, what did you think about the character building in this one?
So, I mean, I'm just going to come right out and say it. So, I decent fan of the video game franchise. I played the very first game when it came out. I haven't followed it very much since then. I loved the original films. I saw them growing up. They hold a special place in my heart. And of course, with any sort of film that you've seen a previous one of, you're going to make comparisons. I was not a huge fan of this one for a variety of reasons. But one of them was character building. I felt like they made it too rushed. They tried to just throw characters in there. You didn't get a lot of backstory, and for that reason, I don't really give a shit about a lot of these characters.
Yeah, I could have seen this movie being like in its own universe where they do multi
Yes.
films to build everything and then get you to the big and the big fight between the two worlds.
Right, or
Earth and
there's
the outer
this
world.
tournament that they reference.
Correct.
Kind of leading up to that. I thought this would have been great as a limited series or a Netflix series, something that you could take a little bit more time to kind of delve into, like the backstory, kind of what you were saying, that we get a little taste of in the first act, and understand why does this realm want to take over the rest. It felt like they just tried to jam too much story into 2 hours of movie, where you didn't really get a complete picture of anything. And so for that, the entire movie kind of falls short.
Yeah. Like I said originally, when we were going to watch this movie, I thought it was going to be trash. It was better than trash, but not much better.
I had high hopes. I didn't expect it to be this blockbuster film, but I did think that, hey, modern day, they've I don't know why I think that they've improved on the idea of coming up with good stories. Apparently they haven't. The story was terrible.
Yeah, I thought the story was kind of weak. I thought the acting was kind of weak.
Yes.
I thought there was a lot of weak elements. I thought visual effects was weak.
So that's actually one bright note for me. So I thought things like this movie. Look, this movie wasn't all bad. We'll kind of get to that in the ratings, but I think that there were some things to like. I think the special effects, especially, were very cool. I mean, we've seen a lot of superpowers, I guess, so maybe it doesn't seem quite up to par with some of those, but I thought they did a great job. There's a lot of different powers that people have in this movie. I'm blanking on what it's called. They're Arcanum. And so you see like fire effects, the freezing effects.
Yeah, that was actually, the freezing
magic.
effects was actually pretty cool.
The freezing effects were really cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think some of the other effects were a little lacking.
Okay, that's fair. But of all the things in this movie, I thought the fight sequences were very good. There was a few times where you could see like the physics of it maybe didn't make sense, and you could see that there's probably a little wire work going on.
Yeah.
But I did think that the special effects were one of the reasons that you would go see a movie like this.
For all the shortcomings of the movie, I did think it was entertaining.
Yeah, it brought me along enough. I think really it just fell flat with the kind of things we've already touched on. The characters and the overall story. I mean, it just feels so rushed. You don't get the background of like any of these people and why they're doing what they're doing. And it kind of, you have more questions than answers throughout the entire film. I also didn't like that I think they tried so hard to make this movie a setup for a sequel.
Absolutely.
Whereas in the original, I'll just kind of, not really spoiler alert, but you actually get the tournament in the original.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up was kind of a surprise. It was like, oh wow, they're making another one, and it was actually pretty good.
I feel like this movie was kind of a mashup of the Goonies and a UFC Saturday night fight.
Yes, exactly.
It had a lot of kind of Goonies-esque elements to it, and I don't know. I thought there was definitely some moments where I know we were both laughing.
Among the bright spots,
And
I will say
it's either because it was so silly or because it was genuinely funny.
yes. There's some bad parts where you're just like, oh god, this is happening. But there was one thing that I thought, and I'll just see if you think this is a redeeming quality. There's one actor that I want to give a shout out to. The guy who plays Kano.
Oh yeah.
He had some good lines.
Oh yeah, he did. He was really funny.
He was a pretty funny character.
Yeah.
I appreciated his performance. I was hoping for more of that. There's a character it looks like they're going to bring along in the next film, Johnny Cage, if they get a next film. Who also kind of has that similar bravado, and I think could be a fun character. But man, the other one's just
the movie actually did pretty good in the box office. Over the first weekend, it was the largest movie released during the pandemic.
I think we're going to come to find that over the course of time, this is not one that's going to stand the test of time. I mean, I think the video game series, as well as anyone who grew up or anywhere around the 90s and saw the original films, would give this one a chance. I wanted to like this movie so bad, but it was just so bad.
The problem is it's built off of a video game that's 30 years old, not a timeless tale or story that stands the test of time. That's
true.
300 years old that's amazing then and now. It's just a movie from a video game. And that, I think that is where the shortcoming really comes in with this one.
Yeah, and I acknowledge that I am actually, so for all you Mortal Kombat fans out there, I know that there actually is a rich backstory there that I'm sure has been flushed out well in the games, maybe comics or some other literature somewhere. I'm not well aware of all of that. I don't think that this did the story behind everything any justice, though. I think this actually was a just shit piece for anybody who has any sort of background. If you're a true Mortal Kombat fan and you like this movie, I want to do a
good on you.
I got a fatality coming your way.
Flawless victory.
Yeah, I mean, they try. See, that was the thing. It was a rated R movie. So there's some of the things like that are kind of funny from the game that they tried to bring in. I like that they made it rated R. I like that they tried to bring in that ultra-violent aspect because that's kind of what one of the likable aspects of the game is. But oh no.
I think it would have been cool. You know how you watch Bohemian Rhapsody and throughout the movie they're singing the songs from the track and it's telling the story? Had they done something like that with this where the tournament is them fighting and you get some of those catchphrases, it could have been a lot better.
I agree. And they tried to do a few of the like big known things. Liu Kang's fireballs, Liu Kang with the bicycle kick. I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they just didn't do any of that. And one of the other things that you get at the end that I thought was so lacking is the epic song. So there's this Mortal Kombat intro song that, like, you've probably heard it. Like, I think it's been remixed in like EDM tracks and stuff like that. But yeah, you get it at the end of this film. I'm like, that is such a jazz you up for a big fight song.
They had it, but a very kind of subdued version of it in some of the fight scenes. I don't know if you...
No, I didn't.
But it was so subdued you didn't even notice it. Yeah.
Yeah, well...
I don't know. Let's go ahead and get to scoring this one. What did you give it?
You know, I liked the character of Kano. I think that they could have had an opportunity to build something here. I thought Sonya's character was decent. I liked the special effects, and I did like that they tried to give a little bit more of a history and kind of this rivalry and come at it from maybe a slightly different angle than the other movie. That being said, I thought the acting was just not really great. I mainly blame it on the writers, though. The screenplay was trash. The whole thing was not well done. Even if there is a sequel, I don't know that I'm really going to be eager to watch it. I'm going to give this one a 5.
I want to mirror some of the same things. I thought that the movie looked cool. I really liked the beginning of it. I think that the movie was lacking in a lot of areas from the acting, which I would say Spencer wants to blame it on the screenplay.
I do.
I want to blame it on because I think any real actor worth their salt is going to push to make things make a little bit more sense.
That's fair.
I'm going to say that, and I've said this before, that either it was overacted or underdelivered. It just didn't sit really well with me. There were some aspects like Kano's character who I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen more backstory from some of these characters and maybe made this a multi-movie franchise. I thought it would have been a lot better execution and you would have gotten some emotional attachment to the characters and you could have built this up a bit better. I am also going to give this one a 5. I still think it was entertaining. I still think if you have HBO Max, you should give it a watch.
Yeah, I don't think... Look, I agree with Jeremy. It was overall an entertaining movie. Give this one a shot if you're bored and you want some background noise. There are some cool action sequences, but that's about the most that you're going to get out of this.
Yeah, get from this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, you guys heard it here on the Movie Bros. If there's a movie out there you think we should see, make sure you put it in the comments below. We look forward to hearing from you guys.
Movie Bros out.
See ya.